Hi, everyone. I'm going to try to make this brief in the interest of time. We only have about 20 minutes left. So what I'm going to be sharing today is a case presentation of a woman that we worked with in New Orleans as part of the Red Cross Project. She is 36 years old, has been struggling with depression most of her life, started around the age of 14, and she has been medicated since she was a teenager, has just gone through, was in the process of going through a divorce at the time that we started with her. And she had just gotten out of the hospital because she was suicidal, feeling hopeless basically every day for the past few months, not getting out of bed, not taking care of herself, not doing much, actually, just pretty bedridden. She also had a son, 5-year-old son, and she'd moved back to her parents' house because she no longer had a place to stay after she broke up with her husband. Some of the core beliefs that she had about herself were that she was unlovable, that she would never have a life free of depression. She thought that that was just her lot in life, that she would just be someone who's depressed. That's all she's known. She's been medicated most of her life and didn't really get much better. I mean, she'd get better for a little bit and then get worse again and better for a little bit. So it's just been an on and off course for her. And felt really bad about her parenting as well. She thought that she was a terrible, terrible mother because she was depressed, and then she couldn't, and because she wasn't able to maintain her relationship with her husband. She thought that she was a bad parent for that reason, and then thought that her husband just, like everyone else, would never be able to love her. And her parents were also very critical and abusive as well, and she was returning to their home. And so this is sort of the story that she's had of herself most of her life. At the time that she started treatment, she was severely depressed. She scored a 22 on the PHQ, so we used a screener for her. And she went through this treatment for about 4 months. The first month was a little choppy for her, and I think that we'll find that with a lot of patients. It's before they buy into the treatment. It's just very hard for them to see how this could be helpful. And she had lots of bad experiences with clinicians in her past, and so just wasn't completely bought in. And it took a little while for our clinician to really engage her in the process. And once she engaged in the process, a lot of things started to change. She was able, in the first module of the program, Jeannie talked about 3 modules. There was the thought module, the behavior module, and also the people's interaction module. So in the first module of the program, she learned to recognize some of the cognitive distortions that she had, some of her schemas about the world, or about herself and others, her core beliefs. So she believed that she was a failure, that she would be unlovable, and that she would never be able to have healthy relationships. And this was the way she saw all of her interactions, and she was able to recognize how that interfered in her life, how that kept her from engaging with other people. She very much self-isolated and did not do much and avoided people. So during the first 4 weeks of this module, she was kind of in and out of treatment and not coming in as frequently. But she was able to recognize that these thoughts were distorted, and she was able to start challenging them and she was able to start seeing that she was actually a good parent. Like, she was able to recognize that she prioritizes her son, she spends time with him, she plays with him, she does things that a loving parent would do. And so the therapist helped her recognize those behaviors, and she used that to challenge her thinking about herself being a bad parent. So that was one way that she started to challenge that, and that began to shift in the course of the first 4 weeks. Then when she moved into the activities module, that was actually the module that was most helpful for her. It was also the most challenging for her because she was such a hermit, and was someone who's used to being at home, being bedridden, not really able to engage with other people. And so she started taking small steps, like taking walks outside, playing with her son, doing things in the home. And during this process, I think what happens is you start to activate people, and then they start to do more things, and so it becomes this positive spiral that goes up. it was during Mardi Gras that she was in this module, so it was actually a really good time because there was so much going on in the city in New Orleans, and she agreed to go outside in the street and just watch the parade, and that was all she was planning on doing. That was her homework for the week. So she goes outside and goes out there and watches the play and gets inspired. She's with her son and she's having a good time, and she decides, you know what? Maybe I should just stay out the whole weekend. Maybe I'll rent, I'll get a hotel room. And so she ended up getting a hotel room on the parade line and got herself this hotel room with her son and had a blast. And she had not, this is a woman who hadn't left the house in months. She had a really great time and came back and she said, you know what, I didn't realize how much fun I could have. I thought I was someone who could not have any fun. And she saw how much fun it was for her son, and that was just really reinforcing for her. And so after that, she started to do more things. She started to go out more, not like out with a lot of people, but just go out to the store, to the park, just engage in life. And then towards the end of this module, there's a couple of sessions that's focused on values and life goals. And so she started to think about what she wanted out of life. And she's always been a really great caretaker. She's very nurturing, and so she started to recognize some of these qualities about herself, and wanted to be a community health worker. And so this is a woman who's very, very articulate, very smart, but only finished high school and had wanted to pursue more education, but just never got there because of things that came up in her life, because she didn't have money, because she didn't think she was worth it. And so in this period, she started to look into what sorts of things were out there in the community. And through Reach NOLA, there were so many different things that were going on, and there was such a need for community health workers. And so she signed herself up for a program, got some training to be a community health worker, and by the end of the activities module, had started to volunteer for a community organization. And through that, she started interacting with more people, and so you can see this positive spiral in her life. She started to get out and do more things. And then the last module for her was the people's interaction, and so there she started to reevaluate her relationships with people. And prior to this, she was always very, she's very self-critical, but she's also very critical of other people and very much blamed her husband for the failure in their marriage, and blamed her parents, and blamed pretty much everyone around her. And she started to recognize that that was something she did. And as she learned to do this, she started communication with her husband, her husband at the time again. And she was able to acknowledge her part in their failed marriage, and they, as a result of that, were able to begin this process of reunification. So by the end of treatment, basically this woman was able to reunite with her husband. She got out of her parents' house, moved back into the home of her husband, started volunteering at a community organization, and started to think about what else she wanted in life. And I just wanted to show you, oh, shoot. I don't think I can get back on. I had a PHQ chart of her that I wanted to show you. And it basically, I don't think you guys can see it, it's very small. But so she started out at a 22. Over the course of 4 weeks, she got down to 3. I mean, did I say 4 weeks? 4 months. 3. That's a remarkable, remarkable change. And just to end it, I wanted to share some words that she said about the therapy and what she got out of treatment. So here goes. In the past, I identified with being depressed and mentally ill, using it as an excuse. Today, the evidence supports that I am emotionally healthy, therefore I have no excuse. I can handle what comes my way, and I can pursue my goals and my dreams. She also said, sometimes I fear losing this place, the sense of having such a great influence on my mood. However, I realize that the fear is based on inaccurate thoughts. When I examine my thoughts, my mood shifts almost magically. And then she says, my relationships have improved. I used to blame others for the way I feel. If only they would change. I changed. And my world is so much brighter. This catch it, check it, change it thing, it comes naturally now. I don't even realize I'm doing it. So her story was just really inspiring to me. And and to the clinician that was working with her. And so I just wanted to share that with you, that this could be something that people can have. And it only took 4 months. So, thank you.